Welcome to our short webinette on a 360-degree view of your business. In our session today, what we want to do is just tackle two particular views. One is our own internal company 360 and how we can have our key metrics pop up and be available to us to monitor those and act on those when they become out of phase with what our objectives are. And then the second is from a customer perspective, drilling in further and further and seeing the power of that 360-degree view and how that can enhance that relationship that we have between ourselves and the customer. So we're starting here at a home page, and this particular home page is my 360-degree view of my own company internally. So the types of things that we're focused on here are things like, what are our quarterly sales and how are they tracking and trending? How is my cost of sales doing? Of course, those two items put together lead to a margin. So we have a little visibility here of what our margin is year to date. And actually, let's just pop out that dashboard so we can see it a little bit better and expand some of these key data elements. But then you'll notice our margin year to date is in the green, so it's above what our objective is. It's at 46.1%, but compared to last year, we had a bang up year last year. So the mix of our products that we sold last year was a lot of high margin products. So last year's margin was 64.9% compared to this year's. This year we're not doing nearly as well as we're tracking, and so we can drill in and figure out what that is based on our sales. If we just want to go in and view that margin report right here, I'm not going to drill in because I know that that we can drill in and see the data and the reports that back up these metrics. So we're not going to do too much drilling back to reports today. Other things that you might be tracking in your own business that give you indications about the health of your business are, new customers. So how many new customers have we added? This particular look has new customers by region, so and by quarter. And so you can see in Q1 we were on track for a bang up new year, and then of course circumstances changed for everybody. And now you can see that trend towards a bunch of new customers, adding new customers, dropped off rapidly in Q2 and Q3. So that's a little bit of a problem, and we have to figure out how we're going to, engage with new customers. Another factor is our working capital. So, how is this situation? What are the current impacts on our working capital with whatever the circumstances are? And right now, we've got our whole COVID situation, and that's going to be impacting our working capital numbers and our cash flow, et cetera, et cetera. Speaking of cash, how are we doing with our purchase orders and our payables, and how is that affecting our cash? Here we have a little straggler here, ended up down here. So what new customer, not just are we getting new customers, but are we getting orders from new customers? So that's another important metric about the health of our company, and are we still growing? Then other important things are, are we paying our vendors on time? And then work order status. So our on-time record for work orders, and are we completing our manufacturing work orders on time? And what does that look like on a status basis? So, for those that are ready for manufacturing, where the pick lists have been generated and so on. So we can see the status of those, and we can see, which ones are on time. There's a big chunk of these that are on time, but if we look at items that are more than 1 week late, you can see we have 39 work orders that are more than a week late. And so we might want to go in and track and find out what's going on with those work orders. Inspections and the quality of our product is important. So we have some insight here about how many items are in inspection, and so each of those inspection orders and how many items we've got waiting inspection before we can ship them, and some more work order status here. In addition to that, we have product out in the field with customers, and So what is our situation with our field service work orders? So not only do we manufacture, but we repair and do warranty work for goods that are already assets with our customers. And what is that situation looking like? And this particular view looks at the value of our invoicing against each of our customers, sorted by in order of high customer volume to low. So you can see here, there's a general equipment. Our customer general equipment is using our new field service capability at the highest level, and then we've invoiced to date $6,680 against that particular customer, and then so on down the line with the rest of our customer base. And then of course we're always tracking opportunities. So what do we have in the pipeline and that we can be selling? So we're have a high visibility as to what's going on with our sales pipeline and what opportunities do we have out there. And finally, customer service element. Another customer service element would be our cases. So how old are our cases and how many cases do we have in what status, and by in particular by case owner. So as we go through and who's doing which customer service rep is handling the most cases and getting the most cases done on time, etc. So you can see that open cases report right there. So for our Salesforce cases. So this is a quick look and a kind of a whirlwind tour of an internal view of our company, and that's looking at many different aspects of the company. And one of the key metrics that we have here is our top 5 customers by sales. And because of the current COVID situation, the fact that for our customers, a lot of their business has been impacted. Our own business has been impacted by COVID. We're going to take a scenario in which an employee has been moved into a new job position that's called the customer success manager. And the idea behind this new job for our employee, which is me, is that I need to keep an eye on the customer success, and I'm going to do that. The approach I'm going to take is based on our top 5 customers by sales volume, right? So I'm going to focus on our top 5 customers. You see the list here of our top 5, and I'm going to go in and actually drill into what is going on with those customers. How can we make them more successful? How can we make sure that their bills get paid? How can we make sure that our products are serving them? And how can we unearth new opportunities in those accounts? So that's the next focus. Is I'm taking on this new role. I am a customer success manager, and I'm just going to close out of this dashboard and get back to the home page. So what right at the top of the list that you see here is on today's tasks. One of my top customers, top 5, is General Equipment, and you can see here there's a task that I have to welcome Evelyn Brady to her new position, and she's with General Equipment. So let's go into General Equipment, and we could drill in from here, or we could just go ahead and go to our customer list and see General Equipment on our customer list, pull up that 360 view of the customer from the customer list. So here we are at my customer master. And what we've done in the customer master is try to pull together in a single place all the things that I might need to manage and make our customers successful. So my job is a little bit daunting because I have these at least 5 customers, or starting with the first 5 customers. I have to get to know them pretty quickly, have to understand what the situation is in their business. So I'm going to take this page and I'm going to really use it as a tool to start analyzing as I go through and look at trends, look at red flags, and figure out what's going on with this customer. So let's do that. Let's just take that view of that success manager. So when I get into this customer master, I see, okay, we have a current accounts receivable balance of $313,000. And that seems high, but maybe it is, maybe it isn't, but we have to figure that out. as I go through this, I see that for this particular customer, on the orders that I have done with them to date, my margin has been 41%. So for a total of all the orders year to date, I'm getting 41%. You'll see this green line here. That's my metric for what's acceptable. So it's in green because anything, and it's about 35%. So as far as we're concerned on orders, that 35% is the threshold that we want to achieve. And so I'm looking at that and I say, okay, we're getting good margins. So that's a good thing. But the next thing I look at down here is my aging analysis, and I see, we've got a little bit of a problem. And, we said there was $313,000 worth of invoices out there, and there's a big chunk of them that are very, very old. And that's going to be a problem that I have to address. So, so I'll go ahead and make a note to myself, that I'm going to have to address this. And I might do that in a number of ways. So one of the things I might do is just go ahead and scroll down here to the new task and create a task for myself, and say, call General Equips AP and resolve old invoices, right? And I got to do that today. So that's a today task. It's assigned to myself or to whomever I might assign this to. And then I can tie this back to any other kind of related record. So let's go ahead and say, I happen to know Evelyn Brady is the contact with General Equipment, who is my accounts payable person. And while I'm in here in this activities area, and so now I've assigned myself a new task, right? So that's great. That's on my to-do list. I can go back and keep going through my analysis. But one of the other things I wanted to do, since I'm in here, is remember, I have this item, welcome Evelyn to her new position. So Evelyn has been elevated to accounts payable manager, and I wanted to send an email to her and welcome her to that position. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. So let's go ahead and create an email here. And all of this, you'll notice, is tracking as an activity in this account. So I can see as I go back and make sure that I've done these things, that they've, I've ticked them off and they've been accomplished. So here's Evelyn, and congrats, and I would put my, okay. Okay, so I'll send that off to Evelyn. So that becomes part of the history, right? And if I, when I pick up the phone later to give Evelyn a call and talk to her about these situations, I will, log a call. If I set up a meeting to talk about some other types of things, I would create a new event, right? So as I continue through here and have a look at what needs to be addressed in this, about this aging analysis, one of the things I need to do is I need to go look at the accounts receivable side of things and see what's happening. So I'm going to go down to the open AR invoices, and I can sort through here and see what's going on with these invoices. So you can see here, let's sort this by, so some of these invoices are, more than almost 2 years old, right? So December 18th, 2018, May 31st, 2019. So it's very curious because they're a pretty good customer. We always think internally these are a good customer. So, but I'm going to look at some other indications here. So let's look at the credit memos. So what I see here is, for one thing, there's a small credit memo that's sitting in here that maybe there's needs to be applied. It doesn't look like it's necessarily been applied. And then I have 3 entries of unapplied cash that need to be applied against some items. So I have to resolve these items. So I might set myself a new task, right? Go resolve those unapplied cash items, or I might go back to this task that I set up and add it. Don't forget the unapplied cash. Or I might send this off to another person in the organization. So let's go ahead and we could do that and send this off to another person in the organization and say, hey, Scott, could you resolve these unapplied cash before I call? So before I call Evelyn. So I just go in and say, hey, Scott, go look at these items of unapplied cash. And Scott is my accounts receivable person. So I'll just say, Scott can take care of that. And again, that's going to relate to Evelyn in this particular case. So now I've assigned something to somebody else to work on to have a look at the unapplied cash and perhaps apply those. But then also my concern is for that big fat item that is, that chunk of money that's really old, that couple $100,000. And so I might also go down here further from the accounts receivable side of things and start looking into the return material authorizations. Is there anything held up in here? And what's the age of these items where maybe we have sent the replacement, we haven't sent the replacement? Are there any warranty claims going on? So that we can, and then are there any open cases? So all of these factors can lead us to a situation where we need to investigate further and figure out what might be contributing to this open old set of invoices. And then further, let's say if I get on the phone and call Evelyn and say, so let's talk about how we can resolve these things. Maybe she says to me then at that time, she says, by the way, we just put in a sales order for an urgent item, and I need to know if you're going to be able to deliver that on time, right? So I can go in and I can look up and say, all right, what's your PO number? And she says it's 33908. I find 33908 on my list, or I search for it in the global search bar, and I drill into that order. And because we have had, because of COVID, some outages, a lot of employees, there might be a backlog in our own shop that we saw those late work orders out there on our internal company view. And so I can go in and I see that she needs this item, the wireless network units. And so I can just drill in and say, okay, when are we going to be able to deliver that? And as I go through and I look at that, then I find, all right, we don't have any of these in stock. So here's the item that she's asking about, our wireless network link. I don't have any on hand. And the system tells me, I have some open POs. The system tells me, hey, this is on order. The scheduled ship date is October 19th. So the earliest I can ship this based on that dock date that purchase order is October 19th. So that right now, again, is the earliest time that I can ship this. And I'm getting, it looks like 20 of these in. I already have demand from this site for 9 of them. I don't have any on hand. I have that open PO. So if I'm promising them to anybody, I have 11 more that I can promise, but then this is a problem for me, right? Because Evelyn's due date for her company is the 2nd, and I'm not going to get them till the 19th. So what do I do from here? Well, I might, again, I could pop up a task and say to my purchasing agent, David Burton, so, expedite a PO. Let's see if we can get these in for our customer. And I'm going to assign that to David Burton. Let me just X me out of there. And David Burton is my purchasing agent, and it's going to have a link related to this order. Or maybe we have them drop shipped. Okay, drop ship those units to general equipment. So so now that's task has been assigned to David, and he has to resolve that and figure that out. But all of this becomes part of the history of this particular client's account. So I have all of that there. I have all the attachments related to the sales order, to the sales order lines, to the customer master, and I am prepared when I go talk to general equipment. Sorry, I can pull it from here too. When I go talk to general equipment and start these conversations, or in the middle of these conversations, I can answer any question that they have. And then I'll just wrap up with the idea that all of this also is available on the handheld device. So then all of the same kind of information is available right at your fingertips on the handheld device. And so you can go in and you can see your, all of your quick links. And, one of the people that I want to work with in this process to make sure that I'm coordinating with him as well, because we have all these open, these open items, is the sales rep. And I could see that in my related lists. And then, here's the aging, etc. So all this same data that we see presented online is available on the handheld device as well. So you're about to go in and have that big meeting with the customer, you're not blindsided by any of these situations. Visit rootstock.com/demo to request a personal demo. Thank you for your time.